How's it going, guys? Hank here, and welcome back to another video on the Review and Preview Sports channel. As always, please don't forget to find us on all our forms of social media. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, please do not forget to hit that big red buttons and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Review and Preview Sports. Now, of course, the big news that we're going to be talking about today is Eduardo Rodriguez signing with the Detroit Tigers for 5 years and $77 million. First of all, it leaves the Red Sox with a big question mark because last year they made it all the way to the American League Championship Series. Erod was a good pitcher for them down the stretch. In September, he had a 2.12 ERA. And in the playoffs, he only gave up 7 runs. Granted, 4 of them were in a bad start in the first game he pitched in the American League Division Series against the Tampa Bay Rays. But otherwise, he has been pretty strong in the second half. However, it also leaves a question for the Detroit Tigers. Did they overpay for this guy? On the surface, 5 years and $77 million sounds like a lot for a pitcher who the previous season had a 4.74 ERA, a 1.389 whip, both of which are on the high side. And it also should be worth noting that in 2020, he missed the entire season because he not only tested positive for COVID, but he ended up having a serious heart condition, myocarditis, as a result of it. So he did not pitch that year, but fortunately, he was able to make a strong enough recovery and come back to pitch pretty well, all things considered, for the Red Sox in the second half of the season. So there's definitely that. But what I also think should be taken to consideration is his high ERA might have had something to do with the fact that he pitched against a lot of tough teams in the AL East. And remember, this was a division that produced 3 playoff teams it pitched 3 playoff teams, nearly 4, because the Blue Jays were 1 game behind the Yankees and the Red Sox for second/third place. So that's some pretty tough competition. And let's take a look at some of the hitters he faced. Randy Arozarena, Austin Meadows, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, and of course, as a Yankee fan, I know all too well, Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. So take that ERA for what it's worth. He definitely faced some tough guys. But with that being said, he also has some good stuff. 185 strikeouts speaks for itself. Definitely among the league leaders in that category. And not to mention, in the last full season that he pitched, 2019, he had 213 strikeouts. So, and he also has a pretty high strike swing and miss ratio. So there's definitely that. And all in all, despite the ERA, I don't think this is a bad get for the Detroit Tigers, if I'm being honest. Because let's look at the Tigers. They already have a nice young rotation featuring guys like Casey Mize, Matt Manning, and Tarek Skubal. All of them have pretty good stuff. All of them have potential to do well for the Detroit Tigers. What you're getting in Eduardo Rodriguez is a seasoned veteran who has pitched in a lot of big games for the Boston Red Sox, and he even has a World Series ring. So I think an experienced veteran to complement 3 young guys is actually pretty important for a Tiger team that is looking to make a lot of strides. They definitely overachieved last year. A lot of people had them finishing dead last, but they ended up winning 77 games. They only finished a couple games out of second place behind the Cleveland Indians. And remember what I said about the lineups that Erod pitched against in the AL East. Compare that to the AL Central. The only really tough team I can think of that he'd be facing is the Chicago White Sox. I don't know if the Twins are going to be as bad as they were last year, but they'll probably be improved. But after that, you have the Indians and the Royals, and those are lineups that don't really have guys that are threats to, like, hit the ball a long way and, drive in, like, some big runs. Like, granted, they play small ball, but at least we're talking about the Kansas City Royals. But, like, they're not the threats that every other team in the American League East is. And other batters he even faced in that division were Cedric Mullins and Trey Mancini of the Baltimore Orioles. So, again, when you really look at it, maybe it was the competition that had to do with his ERA. But at the end of the day, I actually like this move for the Detroit Tigers. I think so far they've done a good job this offseason They already improved their catching with the trade for Tucker Barnhart. Definitely an important position of stability. And I don't think this team is going to be done making moves. I would imagine that Al Avila is going to be trying to go for another big bat to complement what's already a pretty decent looking lineup. I would imagine Carlos Correa is a name that they're going to be keeping their eyes on. So definitely a good offseason so far, the Detroit Tigers, and it'll be interesting to see how well they do. And at the moment right now, they should definitely be able to compete with the Chicago White Sox for the AL Central. But folks, that's pretty much all I have to talk about with regards to the signing. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you like what you saw, please give us a thumbs up and, of course, hit that big red subscribe button. And also, don't forget to leave a comment below if you have any other thoughts regarding Eduardo Rodriguez. But as always, I want to thank you guys again for watching, and I will talk to you guys pretty soon.